University of Georgia, Department of Psychology, undergraduate commencement ceremony.
I was on mute. You guys started. Okay. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Adam Goody. I'm the Associate Head of the Department of Psychology at the University of Georgia, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th annual and the first ever live streamed University of Georgia Department of Psychology undergraduate commencement ceremony. We are using a brand new mixed model this year to accommodate a large, enthusiastic, joyful crowd, but still be safe in these difficult times. So some faculty members will broadcast live today, while other faculty and guests will join in via Zoom or YouTube. Some portions of our program have been pre-recorded and will be played in between the live components. This will be a unique experience that we believe will be a special and memorable event for our graduates and their families and guests. We're thrilled to be able to welcome for the first time ever loved ones who aren't able to travel to Athens. The Psychology Department is home to over 1,900 undergraduate students, making it the second most popular major on campus. I'm pleased to extend thanks to our amazing advising team for meeting with every student and guiding them in their course selections. Our head advisor is Francis Berry, and we also have Dominic Setieri, Matt Jordan, Morgan Mahaffey, and Samantha Patillo. Many of you will also remember our longtime, now former head advisor, Tracy Villaveches, who is now enjoying her retirement. I'm pleased to introduce some of our faculty members who have joined us here today, both in person and virtually. Faculty members, if you will please unmute yourself and say hello when I say your name. Over Zoom, we have Dr. John Ashe.
Hello, and congratulations to everyone.
Dr. Melissa Clark.
Hey everyone, congratulations.
Dr. Lillian Eby.
Hi, everybody. Super proud of you. Congratulations.
Dr. Justin Lavner.
He was here, I think he's gone now.
Okay, I'm sure he extends his congratulations to all. And Dr. Jennifer McDowell.
Congratulations, class of 2021. Very proud of you.
Here live in person, we have Department Head Dr. L. Stephen Miller.
Hi, everybody.
Undergraduate Coordinator Dr. Trina Saturski.
Hi.
Dr. Casey Morris.
Hi, congratulations, everyone.
And Dr. Janet Frick.
Hey, everyone, so proud of you.
It is now my pleasure to welcome to the microphone the head of the department, Dr. Stephen Miller.
Thanks, Adam. All right, I'm going to have a few words. We're very happy to celebrate this important milestone with you today. The Department of Psychology is one of the largest, and it's clearly the best, of 30 departments and schools within the Franklin College of Arts and Sciences. Led by Dean Alan Dorsey, the Franklin College is the oldest and largest of 17 colleges and schools within the University of Georgia. The Franklin College partners with the Psychology Department in numerous ways in both its teaching and research missions. We're honored that Dean Dorsey is here with us today. Dean Dorsey, if you can, would you please unmute yourself and say hello so that we can thank you and the Franklin College for all you've done to contribute to the graduates' success.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Miller.
Thank you so much, Dean Dorsey. Psychology has been represented in some form at UGA since the university was first established, and in fact, a course called Moral and Mental Philosophy was offered in UGA's first curriculum. In 1897, UGA offered its first course called Psychology, and the department and the discipline continued to grow from there. In 1930, the psychology clinic at UGA was first officially recognized, directed by A.S. Edwards. Edwards helped form the licensing process for psychologists in the state of Georgia, and in fact became the first person to receive a license in the state of Georgia. Today, The department's 42-member full-time faculty offers PhD programs in clinical psychology, industrial organizational psychology, and behavioral and brain sciences. We have a master's program in professional IO psychology, and of course, the Bachelor of Science degree in psychology, which includes an option to emphasize in neuroscience. Students, today you join the proud legacy of UGA psychology degree holders. As Dr. Goody pointed out, we have nearly 2,000 psychology majors. This calendar year, over 500 of you graduated with the BS degree, and we have many here today to participate in this wonderful ceremony, making it one of the largest departmental graduations we have ever had. Many thanks to the faculty for teaching courses, sponsoring student research, creating opportunities, and for writing many, many, many letters of recommendation. These students couldn't succeed without your leadership. I'd also like to recognize that in the 2020-2021 calendar year, 63 students were invited for membership in Phi Beta Kappa, the prestigious National Honor Society, recognizing outstanding intellectual achievements in the arts and sciences. 52 of our majors presented research this year at the Center for Undergraduate Research Opportunities annual symposium, and many more at the 42nd annual convention of the behavioral sciences presented by PsyChi. This year, we had about 65 active members of the PsyChi National Honor Society, 19 of whom presented a paper or a poster at the conference. Good job. To y'all out there, if you either participated in the honors program or graduating with honors, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude, congratulations on your special accomplishments. And before I forget, I also want to thank the Undergraduate Studies Committee, which includes Dr. Adam Goody, Dr. Casey Morris, Dr. Trina Satursky, Ms. Donna Stevenson, and Mr. Dominic Sevieri for creating this live virtual ceremony. Thank you all very, very much. With that, I'll turn the podium over to Dr. Trina Satursky, our undergraduate coordinator. Trina?
So good morning. So my name is Trina Satursky. I'm a senior lecturer in the department as well as the undergraduate coordinator. So today, all of you are celebrating a really tremendous accomplishment. I wish I could see all of you in person and shake your hand as you walk across the stage, but unfortunately that's impossible right now. Nevertheless, we all want you to know how proud we are of you and your achievements. For many of you, it wasn't easy. There were setbacks, there were failures, there were certainly some bad days. And for some of you, there were even some serious obstacles. And yet, here you all are. As hard as you have worked, you deserve this moment to feel proud of yourselves, just as I know so many of your family members right now are probably just bursting with pride. Enjoy the moment because this is a milestone. We couldn't be happier to celebrate the day with you. So our first student speaker this year is William Allen. William is the student president of the UGA chapter of the PsyChi National Honor Society. PsyChi has as its purpose to encourage, stimulate, and maintain excellence in scholarship and to advance the science of psychology. During his time at UGA, William conducted research with both Drs. Melissa Clark and Dr. Lawrence Sweet. He majored in psychology and he earned a certificate of entrepreneurship and is graduating this year summa cum laude. His postgraduate plans include getting his doctorate in clinical psychology from Wright State University, and he is joined this weekend by his dad, Ivan, his stepmom, Blaine, and his mom, Carmen. Let's now hear a word from William Allen.
Kai, the Honor Psychology Society here. Good morning, class of 2021. Man, does it feel good to say that. My name is William Allen, and I am the current president of PsyChi, the Honor Psychology Society here at UGA. This year's graduation is definitely different than most. For one, I am talking to you from my room, but that should not take away from our celebration today, even if we're not able to be together in person. It's a great honor to be given this opportunity to speak in front of you all today, and I am excited to talk to everyone for a few minutes. One thing that I quickly learned when I came to campus 4 years ago is that the University of Georgia is massive. There's really no denying that. Walking into a dorm room with hundreds of other people, none of whom you know, on a huge campus with tens of thousands of students can be intimidating. There are so many buildings on campus that even as a senior, I still probably haven't stepped foot in half of them. Many of us did not have anyone to guide us or hold our hand in this new environment that we just entered. However, UGA is a special place because this massive school gave us endless opportunities to pave our own road academically, socially, and personally. And through this process, we all matured and grew. At the University of Georgia, you can meet any kind of person, work on any kind of project, and become any kind of individual you want. Being exposed to so much helped us to learn who we are and who we want to become. We met hundreds of new people, developed lifelong friendships, and created memories that we hope to never forget. As psychology students, we learned about the inner workings of the human mind and developed as stronger students. Being part of a large R1 institute, we had the ability to work on research with millions of dollars in backing. We also developed relationships with some incredible professionals, many of whom helped guide us to a lifelong career of success. I know for me personally, there are many that helped me along the way. There's so much at UGA that we explored and learned from. However, creating our own path does not come without bumps in the road, and in some cases, potholes. I want for you to think about all that you've sacrificed these past years. To get to this day, you've had to stay organized, dedicated, and patient. You've spent hours taking tests, even more hours studying for them, with plenty of hard work and tears shed along the way. We have had to learn how to live independently as adults through the good times and bad, far from our families and responsible for ourselves. We've had to learn how to fail and pick ourselves up. None of the past we have built to this day are the same. And with COVID altering everyone's lives this past year, we know that none of our paths have been easy. So I would like to take this time to ask my fellow classmates to take a moment to be deeply proud of themselves. Because through the trials and tribulations, you have still made it here to this day, accomplishing your goals and becoming the University of Georgia graduate you sought to become when you first stepped on campus. You deserve to be proud of the friendships you have made, the teachers you have connected with, and the life and academic lessons you have learned. You've climbed over barriers and up mountains to stand here today, victorious. While we are connected in this moment for only a weekend before our lives head their separate ways, now is a greater time than ever to be proud of ourselves, proud of our classmates, and grateful for those who have helped us to get here. I hope you all have a great day and celebrate through the entire weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, William. Our second student speaker this year goes to the 2020-2021 recipient of the William T. James Award for the most outstanding senior major in psychology, Annabelle Armagh. The William T. James Award is given to our most outstanding senior major in psychology. Criteria for selection are grades and other evidence of scholarship and interest in psychology, such as research reports, research proposals, term papers, community service related to psychology, and other evidence of promise in the field. The award was established in 1983 in recognition of our former fourth head of the psychology department, William James. Annabelle is a worthy recipient, and in the words of our own Dr. Cindy Subeg and Dr. Justin Labner, quote, Annabelle Armagh, a McNair Scholar and member of the UGA Honors Program, currently has a 3.91 GPA while completing a double major in psychology and human development and family science and a minor in Spanish. She has shown extraordinary levels of research engagement, working in 5 labs at UGA and applying her Spanish skills by conducting interviews with Spanish-speaking Latinx families. Her dedication has resulted in a first author peer-reviewed publication, co-authorship on another manuscript that will soon be submitted for publication, as well as first authorship on 2 conference presentations, 1 national. Unquote. Her thesis presented at the Curo Symposium this year focused on racial discrimination, parenting, and child mental health in African-American families. In the future, she'll be attending a PhD program in clinical psychology. Let's now hear a word from Annabelle Armand.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to thank the undergraduate committee and the psychology department for the honor of speaking at this ceremony. When I started my education at the University of Georgia, I never could have envisioned speaking to you like this. Of course, none of us could have anticipated a world of pre-recorded commencements and Zoom graduation parties back then. But I also would have found it difficult to see myself in this position because I saw myself as a person whose words had no value. Like many of you, I started my UGA career as a pre-med student on a narrow path that could not accommodate the fullness of who I was. My medical dreams were quickly dashed by a rough semester of organic chemistry and the realization that I had relegated myself to a passenger in my own life. When I became a psychology major, the decision was a reflection of my desire to serve others, but also a means of taking control. I learned about the intricacies of the nervous system, processes of development, and the design of a research study. I also learned how to comfort friends in distress, examine my own biases, and question what I had taken for granted. Like a lot of you, I have faced disappointment, rejection, sleepless nights, and moments of despair during my time here. But hopefully, like many of you, I was mentored by incredibly supportive professors and found genuine caring and understanding in my peers. Most importantly, I found my voice, which I hope to use in the creation of a more just and equitable world. That is the gift that UGA has given me, and that I hope to share with all of you today. Something I have learned over the past year is that time can seem malleable, almost liquid in times of stress. At times, this year may have felt like a period of arrested development, like suspension in a thick fog of uncertainty. At other times, it may have felt like being thrust forward in time, hurtling towards an ambiguous future. We have endured a uniquely difficult year of widespread sickness, extended isolation, social and political upheaval, and profound personal loss. In particular, many of my fellow students of color have borne the compounded weight of these stressors as marginalized members of our community. But I hope that there have also been moments of lightness and purpose that we can carry with us into this new stage of life. Because now, more than ever, there is work to be done. The work of alleviating suffering, of seeking the answers to complex questions, of creating connection and solidarity in our communities. I hope that what we have learned over the past few years will equip us with the tools to face these tasks with courage and compassion. Many will tell us that with our diplomas in hand, we are now embarking on a journey into the real world. But I would argue that we have always belonged to this world, and that as psychology majors, this belonging is integral to whatever work we will do next. I hope that none of you will feel that you are merely a spectator, a passenger, or a participant in this world, even when your voices are limited by judgment, misunderstanding, or fear. We are and always have been full contributors in life, and what we do and say holds weight. As psychology students, we are taught that a complex interplay of biology and experience shapes the developing mind, and I think that this is an apt way of viewing our new roles. Many of the issues that we face have been set in motion by forces beyond our control and are so deeply rooted that they might initially seem inevitable. But the future is not set in stone. Collectively, we have the power to forge a new path forward. I realized that I felt many of the same emotions I'm sure a lot of us are feeling now on my first day of college. Confusion, anxiety, eagerness, but above all hope, and a desire to create something meaningful with my life, in spite of self-doubt and fear. Because of the confidence I've gained over the last 4 years, I know that I'm ready to accept whatever the future holds for me. When I'm scared and can only see my future as a vast unknown, I try to close my eyes and wait for something to take shape in the darkness. Inevitably, stars and streaks of light begin to pulse behind my eyelids, and I am reminded that darkness is only hidden opportunity, and that wonderful things are lying in wait for me, if only I have the strength to seek them out. And I hope that whenever you are all confronted with the unknown, you can take comfort in the joy that is yet to come. I want to bring this talk to a close by thanking my mentors who provided kindness and clarity when I needed it most, and my parents whose love has given my life color and meaning. And to my fellow students in the class of 2021, congratulations to you all. We have accomplished something monumental that I hope we can all take pride in. We have also been given a privilege that is not afforded to many, and I hope that whatever we take from here and wherever we go, we will give back tenfold. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. Now is the time for our virtual processional. Students were invited to submit information and pictures if they desired, and the USC committee created a slideshow to celebrate the graduates. Our department head, Dr. Miller, is reading the names alphabetized by the first letter of the student's first name. Congratulations.
Welcome again, everyone. I now have the honor of introducing our 2021 UGA Psychology graduates. Abby Quincy, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Abby Mitchell, BS in Psychology. Abigail Aaron Gibbons, BS in Chemistry and Psychology. Abigail Knight, BS in Psychology with a Human Services minor, graduating magna cum laude. Adonzi Niyamaka Inyagu, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Akash Pisapati, BS in Psychology and Biology, graduating magna cum laude. Alden Loftus, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Alexandra Hines, BS in Psychology and a minor in Criminal Justice, graduating summa cum laude. Alexandra Lacey, BS in Psychology and Biology, graduating summa cum laude. Alexandra Mpafu, BS in Psychology. Alexandra Nicole Cohen, BS in Psychology, minor in Human Development and Family Science, graduating magna cum laude. Alicia Kiona Nija Taylor, BS in Psychology. Alexis Celine Asip, BS in Psychology with a minor in Exercise Science, graduating cum laude. Alexis H. Holland, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Alexis Page Garcia, BS in Psychology with a Spanish minor, graduating cum laude. Alexis Renee Syme, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Aliza A. Ali, BS in Psychology and a BA in Political Science. Alondra Perez, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience. Elisa Marie Henriksen, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Alyssa Megan Wilson, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Development and Family Science, graduating magna cum laude. Amanda Christine Clark, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Amanda Clark, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Anna Gruyan, BS in Psychology,
graduating summa cum laude. Anita Ramanathan, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Anna Deline Williams, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Anna Hutchins, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Anna Sophia Polo, BS in Psychology and Criminal Justice, graduating magna cum laude. Anna Taylor West, BS in Psychology. Annabelle Armagh, BS in Psychology, BS FCS in Human Development and Family Science, graduating summa cum laude. Annabelle King, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Ashley Barone, BS in Psychology. Avery Carol Meeks, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Avery Collier, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Aya Ibrahim, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis, graduating cum laude. Bailey Ann Stevens, BS in Psychology. Brady Shackelford, BS in Psychology and Biology, graduating summa cum laude. Brandon Yong Kang, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Brennan Elizabeth Mitchell, BS in Psychology, minor in Public Health. Bria Hubinger, graduating with a BS in Psychology and Human Development and Family Science. Brianna Grace Perth, BS in Biology and Psychology with a neuroscience area of emphasis, graduating magna cum laude. Brianne Schultz, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Bryce Rain Arata, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Cameron Brown, BS in Psychology. Cameron Leeson, BS in Psychology and a BA in Philosophy, graduating magna cum laude. Cami Schofield, BS in Psychology. Carolyn Barden, BS in Psychology. Carolyn Grace Poole, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Carolyn Wells Brown, BS in Psychology. Cassandra Abenwom Sam, BS in Cognitive Neuroscience, graduating cum laude. Kaylee Reese Blanton, a BS in Psychology. Kalisa May Loriano, a BS in Psychology. Chance Gilbreth, BS in Psychology, a minor in ESS. Charity McCracken, BS in Psychology. Charlotte Angiano, BS in Psychology. Charlotte York, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Chinedum Ngozi Igwe, BS in Psychology. Cole Williams, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, minor in biology, graduating cum laude. Courtney Michelle Malin, BS in Psychology and Biology, graduating summa cum laude. Courtney Kingston Poppleton, BS in Psychology and BA in Sociology, graduating summa cum laude. Dana Lee Thiesfeld, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Daniel Jonas Sutphen, BS in Psychology, minor in Sociology, graduating magna cum laude. Darren Cho, BS in Psychology. David Tillman Kinley, BS in Psychology and AB in Interdisciplinary Art. Denise Duban Perez, BS in Psychology. Destiny Elise Falk, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Destiny Jano Charles, BS in Psychology. Eden Grace Taylor, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Services. Elizabeth Ann Benton, BS in Psychology with a minor in Spanish, graduating magna cum laude. Ellen Elizabeth Walsh, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Emery Kent, BS in Psychology. Emily Amanda Finch, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Threlkelb, BS in Psychology and International Affairs, graduating summa cum laude. Emily Scout Minnick, BS in Psychology and BA in Entertainment Media Studies, graduating summa cum laude. Emily Morgan Hart, BS in Psychology. Emily Smith, BS in Psychology, Public Health minor. Emma DiDuro, BS in Psychology. Emma Catherine Klein, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Emma Nicole Romy, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Emma Rose Lauder, BS in Psychology and Women's Studies. Eric Williams Santana, BS in Psychology, Neuroscience. Erica Mackenzie Allen, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Aaron Tuomi, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Fahim Hotail, BS in Cellular Biology and Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Gabriel Elizabeth Hernandez, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Genesis Davis, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Gipti Ayabi, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Services, graduating cum laude. Grace Smith, BS in Psychology. Haley Davis, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Services, graduating cum laude. Haley Catherine Pauls, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Services, graduating summa cum laude. Hannah Wilmot, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Hasanatu Diallo, BS in Psychology with a minor in Spanish, graduating magna cum laude. Hollis Clark Brown, BS in Psychology and Biology. Isabel Rumsey, BS in Psychology. Isabella Rose Fons, BS in Psychology with a minor in Religion. Isabella Tulk, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Ivan Campbell, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis. Jade Isabella Ledford, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Jade Catherine Curie Maltese, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Jasmine S. Maxey, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Javier Acevedo, BS in Psychology. Jawa Darazim, BS in Psychology and Biology. Jamie Alexandria Bromfield, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating summa cum laude. Jasmine Lopez, BS in Psychology with a Portuguese minor. Jennifer Lynn Ngayan Buai, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Jessica Thompson, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Jonathan Maxwell, BS in Biology and Psychology. Jordan Bush, BS in Biology and Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience. Julia DiBicari, BS in Psychology. Julia Patton, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Katie N. Hill, BS in Psychology. Kamsi Ubizonu, BS in Psychology, BS in Communication Studies, graduating cum laude. Kerrigan Michelle Milligan, BS in Psychology. Carly Geis, BS in Psychology. Catherine Celeste Griffin, BS in Psychology. Catherine Lockwood, BS in Biology and Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating magna cum laude. Katie Holliday, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Katie Moran, BS in Biology. Kyla Hubbard, BS in Psychology. Kayla Addison Maple, BS in Psychology. Kayla Franchester Troywick, BS in Psychology. Kayla Grover, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience and a minor in human development, graduating summa cum laude. Kaylor E. Sexton, BS in Psychology and Human Development Family Science, graduating magna cum laude. Kelsey Owens, BS in Psychology. Kelton McConnell, BS in Biology, Genetics, and Psychology. Kennedy Hurd, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating cum laude. Carrie Ray, BS in Psychology. Keshav Kalathur, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating summa cum laude. Christina Rockholm, BS in Psychology with a minor in studio art, graduating cum laude. Kristen Subin Ah, BS in Psychology with neuroscience emphasis. Christina Dees, a BS in Psychology. Kyler Jack Cook Hardegree, BS in Psychology. LaDasha Francesca Shinholster, BS in Psychology. Laura Jimenez Garcia Moreno, BS in Psychology, minor in Political Science and Chinese Language and Literature, graduating summa cum laude. Lauren Elise Brown, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Lauren Koblitz, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Service, graduating summa cum laude. Louis Bannister, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Lillian Blake Stansel, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Mackenzie Ann Riley, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Macy Perez, BS in Psychology. Madeline Grove, BS in Psychology. Madison Fields, BS in Psychology. Madison Justice, BS in Psychology and Nutritional Sciences, graduating summa cum laude. Madison Moxley, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis, graduating cum laude. Madison Rhodes, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Maggie Hutcherson, BS in Psychology. Mahathi Saishri Mula, BS in Psychology. Mackenzie Page Barker, BS in Psychology. Mariana Bone, BS in Communication Studies and Psychology. Marissa Oakley, BS in Psychology with a minor in Communication Studies. Marjorie Hutcherson, BS in Psychology and Biology. Mary Alexia Long, a BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience. Mary Reagan Arntzen, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Maya Asha Carey, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience and exercise and sports science minor, graduating magna cum laude. Michaela Ann Doss, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Mackenzie Maloney, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Meg Bodnar, BS in Psychology. Michael Umana, BS in Psychology. Miranda Lehman, BS in Psychology with a minor in Spanish and minor in Human Services. Molly Samantha Massengill, BS in Psychology. Morgan Alexander, BS in Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating cum laude. Morgan Pierce, BS in Psychology. Nevi Marley Amarul, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Nicole Bemberas, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Nilufer Hayat, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Olivia Elizabeth Johnson, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Olivia Horn, BS in Biology and Psychology with an emphasis in neuroscience, graduating cum laude. Paris Nicole Che, BS in Psychology and BS in Biology, graduating magna cum laude. Priscilla Ann Doherty, BS in Psychology and a BA in Communication Studies, graduating cum laude. Quinn Elise Lava, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. Rafe Taha, BS in Psychology. Raven Matheson, BS in Psychology. Rebecca Brigden, BS in Psychology. Rebecca Lynn Kelly, BS in Psychology. Rebecca Lynn Sunline, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Rhea Shahani, BS in Psychology. Ratika Chakrabarti, BS in Psychology, BA in English. Sabrina Noel Spivey, BA in Psychology with a minor in Biology. Sadie Webb, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Sahaj Krishan Bhimani, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis and a biology minor. Sam Asplund, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Sarah Brianna Kreitner, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Sarah Christine McCullough, BS in Biology and Psychology. Shawnee Kim Ngayan, BS in Psychology. Sierra Hudson, BS in Psychology. Simone Robinson, BS in Psychology. Skyla Chone, BS in Psychology and AB in Cognitive Science with a Human Services minor, graduating summa cum laude. Sofia Isabel Lopez, BS in Psychology with minors in Microbiology and Studio Art. Sophia Laupes, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Sophia Lucia Lambert, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Development and Family Science, graduating magna cum laude. Stephen Pacholik, BS in Psychology. Soraya Mohido, BS in Biology and Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Sydney Elizabeth Copeland, BS in Psychology. Sydney Elizabeth Tangillig, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Taylor Hawley, BS in Psychology with a minor in Human Development and Family Science, graduating summa cum laude. Taylor Hibbs, BS in Psychology and Sociology, graduating summa cum laude. Taylor Joanna Underwood, BS in Psychology. Taylor Lamazars, BS in Psychology. Taylor Leathers, BS in Psychology with an area of emphasis in neurosciences, graduating summa cum laude. Taylor Olivia Droughty, BS in Psychology. Teresa Napolitano, BA in Cognitive Science and BS in Psychology with minors in Sociology and Studio Art, graduating magna cum laude. Theodore Joseph Miller, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis, graduating magna cum laude. Tiffany Van Nguyen, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Tony Ann Jackson, BS in Psychology. Travis Carlton Garrick, BS in Psychology, graduating cum laude. Valerie Lynn, BS in Psychology. Raj Nikhil Patel, BS in Psychology with a neuroscience emphasis, graduating magna cum laude. William Allen, BS in Psychology, graduating summa cum laude. William Curvin, BS in Psychology. Jessica Torcios Galvez, BS in Psychology, graduating magna cum laude. Zainab Kuwaja, BS in Psychology. And here are additional graduates who were not able to give us individual cards. Abby Webster, Aditi Dume, Aja Zeman, Ajayla Evans, Akil Kotamarti, Akua Adubafur, Elena Kramer, Alex Brueggemann, Alex Donnelly, Alex Sanders, Alexander Hamer, Alexander Studebaker, Alexis Mims, Ali Kath, Alicia Tadani, Allison Jenny, Alisa Kiefer, Ali Neiman, Ali Parker, Ali Sachs, Alyssa Waters, Amanda Sowell, Amanda Smith, Amber Maduki, Amy Lee, Annabelle Ibar, Andrew Mazzi, Angela Jones, Angela Rios, Anaya Jordan, Anna Buchholz, Annie Miliero, Annie Reed, Annalyn Zorn, Anshu Garg, Ansley Zimianatos, Ansley McGee, Araceli Gomez Soto, Ariel Clark, Arjun Bhatt, Aaron Evans, Austin Harriman, Bailey Haas, Bakery Sun, Becca Parker, Ben Barfield, Bilal Naeem, Blake Gwaltney, Branson Smock, Bree Cochran, Brittany Ent, Bryce Arata, Bryn Robinson, Caitlin Coleman, Caleb Santamaria, Kamaya Percival, Candler Boyette, Kara Kelsch, Karina Bryan, Carl Van Rensburg, Carly Yosarock, Carly Carter, Carly Silverstein, Carolyn Anawat, Carolyn Barden, Carolyn Wilkinson, Carolyn Hunt, Katie Mazurek, Chantel Jackson, Chappelle Powell, Charles DeLeon Franzen, Charlotte Nichols, Chelsea Brown, Chelsea Heron, Kristen Prudent, Kristen Kim, Christina Myers, Christopher Rogers, Ciara Nugent, Sierra Nell, Cindy Guo, Sire Foston, CJ Freeman, Claire Eitman, Cody Boring, Cole McBay, Connor Beauchamp, Courtney Lowe, Christian Gutierrez, Sydney Bish, Cynthia Lucas, Dakota Tippett, Danielle Lionel, Darian Dolansky, Davis Hardell, Denver Knox, Deb Patel, Devin Gladney, Amir Lynch, Ella Hu, Emerald Laguerre, Emily Pearson, Emily Hudson, Emily Lazazara, Emily Gurley, Emma Baggett, Emma That, Emma Fairley, Emma Romy, Emma Peacock, Emma Zipperer, Erica Walker, Aaron Height, Aaron Kelling, Evan Buchholz, Evelyn Fagan, Gabe Wilner, Georgia Petrutska, Jerry Charles, Ginny Carroll, Grace Allen, Grace Thayer, Grayson Eisler, Griffin Cole, Gunhee Chang, Hannah May, Hannah Jaeger, Hannah Stockdale, Hannah Ruth Jameson, Haley Cohen, Haley Biles, Hope Linder, Ingrid Oviedo, Jacinda Jai, Jack McCrae, Jackie Yalta Kanta, Jackie Kimball, Jackson Crate, Jackson Jackson, Jaden McClendon, Jahi Hamilton, Jamie Lewis, Jake Day, Jana Arslan, Janeth Oval, Jalen Taylor, Jennifer Nguyen, Jenny Gill, Jesse Bowling, Jessica Matata Hiayo, Jesse Jacoon, Joanna Eleftheru, Joey Miller, John Adams, Jordan Mitchell, Jordan Elliott, Joshua Fulcher, Josie Veal, Joy Ferris, Judy Zhang, Julia Hardell, Journey Davis, Justin Reeves, Justin Levine, Kaylee Shaw, Kaylee Gonzalez, Kajaj Patel, Carl Opera, Casey Hogan, Kate Batchelor, Kate Haynes, Catherine Sleckman, Catherine Flores, Catherine Corte, Katie Gamble, Katie Turner, Kavitha Srinumakesh, Kayla McLean, Kelsey McCollum, Kelsey Owens, Kenzie McMurray, Kirsten Broca, Kim Hunter, Kirsten Corte, Krista Adler, Kyle Goding, Lagha Mostajabi, Landon Kell, Lauren Kamali, Lauren King, Lauren Kate Scott, Leah Cha, Leah Tomasetto, Leslie Gramajo, Lexley Asip, Lexley Syme, Lexley Hopkins, Linda Gomez, Lisa Garber, Lucinda Schaefer, Linnell Kofi, Mac Willingham, Madeline Tolbert, Maddie Flood, Maddie Griffin, Maddie Krupika, Maddie Zeller, Malik Aaron, Mallory Waters, Mandy Clark, Miriam Latif, Marissa Nicoletti, Mark Pollock, Marvin Peoples, Mary Truitt, Mary Rhodes, Mary Catherine DeMatteo, Matheson, Matthew Goldstein, Matthew Hitchcock, Maya Updegraff, Megan Macia, Megan O'Brien, Megan Wright, Melody Tran, Miana Mitchell, Michael Cotmel, Michaela Jones, Michelle Teeney, Mitchell Peters, Morgan Payne, Morgan Alexander, Morgan O'Neill, Mariah Matthews, Michaela Adams, Natalie Smith, Nathan Doyle, Nicholas Liu, Nicole Gouge, Nikki Codiniera, Nikki Mobley, Nima Patel, Noah Prince, Nora Stout, Naima Graham, Olivia Calhoun, Ollie Rosen, Paris Burton, Paul Johnson, Peter Fan Ko, Prishni Gura, Pushtri Javeri, Rachel Siegler, Rachel Hampton, Rachel Megdal, Raven Faulkner, Reagan Arnson, Reagan Brock, Rebecca Rexford, Regina Stokes, Renee Chang, Ria Damapurkar, Riley Lewis, Salil Gamande, Serena Sang, Savannah Chrysler, Sawyer Hall, Sebastian Povian, Serena Hung, Sergio Miles, Shakira Muhammad, Shay Hurd, Shella Ruffin, Shelby Myers, Sol Moreno, Sophie Polo, Sophie Holly, Sporty Baradawaj, Teresa Sabella, Stacy Galvez Vasquez, Stephanie Gordon, Sydney Wells, Tammy Pham, Tanuja Ann, Tate Cook, Tatum McMullen, Tatum Ramsey, Taylor Eccles, Taylor Farragut, Taylor Swift, Taylor Kinsey, Thomas Proctor, Tillman Kinley, Toes Akinmola, Trevor Statham, Ty Kelly, Tyler Falah, Tyner Cobb, Vaishvik Patel, Victoria Shelton, Wee Ji Zhao, Will McFly, William Sohn, Wyona Fernandez, Zach Garrity, Zach Deaton, and Zara Samad. Thank you again. Congratulations to the 2021 UGA Psychology graduates.
All good? Well, that was quite a list, wasn't it? All right. So we call it a commencement because we're supposed to look forward to what's about to begin. Well, that's true. And tomorrow you will look forward. Let's take today a look back and look what's coming to a close. It will help you as you move forward. Think about the last time that you wore a cap and gown, which was probably when you graduated from high school, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe more. It happens. Think about how you felt then and how you feel now. I'll bet they're a lot alike. You're excited, you're relieved, you're happy to have family and friends around you. You might be a little nervous. Back then, maybe you knew you were coming to UGA or you were going somewhere else. You came to UGA later. Maybe you didn't know where you were going. Wherever you were headed then, you weren't sure it would work out. Maybe you wondered whether you'd succeed in your classes, whether you'd make good friends, make it on your own, be away from your family. Today, you might be headed to graduate school in psychology or another field, or professional school, or nursing school, medical school, business school, something else. You might be headed to work. There's a lot you can do with a degree in psychology. Or you might not know where you're headed. Just like the last time you put on a cap and gown, no matter what your next role is, or you don't know what your next role is, you're not sure how it's going to work out. But think about this. The last time you wore a cap and gown, the last time you felt this way, you came to UGA. You made it. We know that because you're here today. The reason you succeeded is because you took your hard work, your creativity, your intelligence, your resilience, and your compassion for others, and you used them to make the most of things when things went well. You used them to make it back when things got hard, and to make it uniquely yours when things got weird. And boy, this last year was certainly weird. You learned a lot. You gained academic skills, research skills, life skills. You gained a personal and professional maturity, insight, maybe even a little wisdom. And now it's that same hard work, creativity, intelligence, resilience, and compassion that gives you the tools to make the next stage of your life just as successful. We wish you well, and we know you'll make us proud. As you move forward, you're feeling uncertain or scared, remember how it was at UGA. Remember the good times, the challenging times, the unexpected times, all the Zooming times, and how they all added up to a sum total that was extraordinary because of what you brought to the situation. And when you feel sad and you're missing your time at UGA, I want you to go to the psychology department website. There you can look at our beautiful building and your favorite professors and your friends. And then, and this is key, click the button up in the corner that says, show your support. And I promise you'll feel better. Finally, stay in touch. Right? Reach out to a favorite instructor, professor you worked in their lab, whoever, but stay in touch. Look around right now. Acknowledge your friends, your families, the people that matter the most, the ones that were always there for you. Give them lots of love. They deserve it. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let us all congratulate the University of Georgia Bachelor of Science in Psychology class of 2021. So lastly, thank you all. Take care, be kind, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.